Baltic Horizon är något så ovanligt som en börsnoterad fastighetsfond. Bolaget kom in till svenska börsen i december 2016 och då hade jag med mig förvaltaren och berättade lite grann vad det var eller är för någonting. Och nu har jag med mig förvaltaren igen så att vi får en liten uppdatering på hur det går. Så jag har med mig Tarmo Karotam. Varmt välkommen. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Good to be back. Thank you for inviting us back.
Nice to have you back. Det här kommer hållas i engelska också för att Tarmo är ju från Estland och kan engelska. For those of you who haven't heard this before, haven't listened to you before, what is Baltic Horizon? Can you just tell us briefly about the company?
Baltic Horizon is the first listed commercial real estate fund in the Baltics, and we only invest in the Baltic capital cities and in office and retail segments. So we have a portfolio of now soon to be 11 assets and close to 250 million in gross asset value, euros.
How many real estates did you have when we first met in December of 2016?
Good question. We had 7.
All right.
So we have had a very busy year, 2017, in growing the fund, growing the investor base. We've had some issues of new equity, and we have been successful in completing the acquisitions that we wanted to complete.
And I know that last year your performance year to date is spot 89%, and if I look year on year, 1 year back, we've had 82% year performance on the stock of the closed-end fund, which you are. But I know that you have had some dividend payouts as well. Tell us more.
Correct. Our main goal is to pay quarterly dividends, and I'm happy that even during the growth phase, we've now had quite a strong growth phase. We've been able to pay out 8.5 cents in the last 4 installments. So yes, I think we're quite satisfied. We're looking forward to maximizing the dividend in the future, but I think for 2017 we're still quite satisfied.
And just prior to this interview, I looked at the share price. It's 12.5 Swedish crowns, which gives this 8.5 euro cents, a dividend yield of 6.7% roughly as we speak now. And this one is interviewed on the 25th of January. Is this a dividend yield case? Is it that way you, as an investor, should think about Baltic Horizon as a yield case?
Absolutely, and our target dividend yield is 7 to 9%.
Yeah.
And we have actually been a little bit more conservative in the past year and a half about the payout. So we've not had a 100% payout ratio. So I welcome everybody to look at the quarterly report to see what is the maximum potential that we have. And then we're absolutely closer to 9% actually.
Closer to 9% if you would to pay out 100%.
Correct.
All right, so that's good. There is a margin of safety, sort of safe. I know that a lot of my viewers favor real estate investment trusts in the US. Can you compare Baltic Horizon somewhat to the real estate investment trust vehicles in the US, which says that they need to pay out 85 to 90% of what they make, what they earn, in order to have less taxation?
We are as well a REIT-like structure, and our goal is to pay out 80% of the gross net cash flow generated. And I think what we aspire to do is also become a dividend giant, that we would have an increasing dividend for years and years and years. So that's what we're working on very hard, and I think as well that we will prove in a periods to come that the potential to pay out high dividends is there.
People love dividend increases. Is it hard to increase the rents from your tenants?
It's not hard. I think we have.
They're not viewing this.
We have long-term agreements in place, and what I'm happy about is that inflation is finally picking up. So this year we will be indexing many of our lease agreements with almost 4%, because that's what the index inflation has been in the Baltics just now, last quarter.
Tarmo, I will keep you waiting no more. Tell us about 2017.
2017 was a very, very big year for us, because we were growing quite rapidly, and we had a lot of activity in finding suitable strategic real estate investments. And the latest acquisition that we are just about to close is Postimaja shopping center in Tallinn. And it is a core shopping center located in the middle of yes,
is it
precisely this one? In the middle of Tallinn center. And why this property is unique and special to us, because we have actually ownership of a neighboring property next door already since 2013. So now this is in a busiest intersection in Tallinn. And we are thinking of now adding value in this area by building the two buildings together. Okay. So I think 2017 was a lot about strategic investments, core investments for the Baltic Horizon Fund. That we can be all proud of in the years to come when we have actually maximized value here.
This is really interesting. We all know H&M from the Swedish stock market, and Rimi's ICA, it's also listed on the Swedish stock market.
This is the best performing Rimi in Tallinn, actually.
All right.
And everybody knows that this is a H&M flagship store in Tallinn, so it's a very prominent property. And it's very, very well known and visible in Tallinn.
So everybody on the Swedish stock market are talking about the central business district and the prime location, AAA rated locations. They will not go out of favor even though we got a downturn in the economy. Is this exactly the same but in Tallinn?
We believe exactly the same thing, and that's why we target our investments in the capital cities and in the central locations like this one.
Yeah, and in Sweden we got this yield when it comes to central business district, and as you say, your portfolio with 11 properties is quite a lot higher.
Yes, the average yield of the portfolio is slightly less than 7%, but still very competitive. The cost of debt is still very low. The interest rates, margins, very competitive. So that allows us to actually produce the attractive dividend. And yes, so we are looking for more efficiency, and I think we will be well on target.
Are you prepared for the day it will come someday in the future when the interest rates are going up?
We are prepared for that, and a good thing is that we believe that interest rates will go up, but only gradually. They will not jump very abruptly. So, but we are prepared with that because we fix interest rates as long as possible, and the loan maturities we have 2022, 2023, 2024. So we still have several years of locked-in interest rates
for the bigger portion of the portfolio.
Yes.
All right. Det innebär ju också att det är uppenbarligen så att man har låst in räntorna, ungefär som att man binder räntorna på sitt egna bolån här hemma i ganska många år. Vi är norr om 2020, 2022 och ändå längre bort. Räntorna kommer ju någon gång att stiga. Frågan är ju i sådana fall när, men här har vi ju en räntebindning. I was just telling about that at the same time as we are actually locking our mortgage rates, interest rates in Sweden. You've done that in your portfolio as well. So if the rates goes up very, very fast in the short term, it won't affect you that much.
Correct.
Your net asset value in the end of December was 1.37 euros, which amounts for roughly 13.5 Swedish crowns. Today the share price was, when I went down here in the studio, it's down in the bottom of the building, was 12.50, which indicates a small discount to your net asset value of 7.5%. Why is that? Why do you think that?
We just had recently, just in the past few weeks, we had new valuations done for the portfolio, and of course that had affected the NAV by almost 4%. And we're glad that there is some capital growth in our portfolio. And I think the market will adjust to the new value and new price on the NAV. I think as well why we're very often in Stockholm is to introduce the fund, to talk about it as much as possible, to have the investors understand and see the potential dividend that the fund can produce. And as I said, we've been a bit conservative in the past 12 months, but we're looking to become very, very efficient and maximizing the dividend. So soon, hopefully, we will be able to have a payout ratio of 100%.
Okay.
So that should improve, and that should also be then reflecting on the stock exchange price level. And I think today it's a good buying opportunity.
So in that case, you have the driver of hiring the payout ratio, and you might be able to hire the rates for your tenants as well.
Yes, that's the perfect summary what we are targeting.
Well, and I do think that some of my viewers are a bit biased when it comes to the stock market. You know, you almost oftenly buy the shares, the stocks, the financial instruments from your home area in Sweden. The property retail estate market in Baltics, I know when you were here with me 2 years ago now, in December of 2016, you said that you have a lot of international tenants. We can see it on the building as well. Have you added any more international tenants since then? And can you just name a few in order for my viewers to get a feeling of which tenants you have, which I know that they will recognize?
I will start out by saying that we still have a very high occupancy in the portfolio. So all of the tenants that we have had and we have prolonged their lease agreements and are happy with the locations, are happy with our buildings, if it's an office tenant or a retail tenant. With the latest acquisitions, we have added an H&M to the portfolio as a tenant.
Since last time?
Yes, this is the first, let's say, relationship we have now with H&M. And
I'm sorry, but they are drawing down on the physical stores, but not in the Baltics.
They are. We are well aware of that, but this is a flagship store for them.
Exactly, flagship store.
It is as prime as you can get, so we're very happy about that. Another tenant, which is one of the wealthiest companies in Latvia, it's Latvian State Forestry, and we bought their headquarters in Riga. It's a very long-term lease agreement. And they have built it for themselves. The building, very nice wooden architecture. Very proud to have that tenant also in our portfolio.
All right. What is the duration of your contracts?
It is slightly more than 5 years. WALT on average. It's slightly more than 5 years.
We have discussed some drivers going forward for the real estate market. Is there any other drivers that you see, except, I mean, the payout ratio going up and not the wages, but the rents going up as well? Are there any other drivers for you or for the real estate market in the Baltics?
We invest in Tallinn, in Riga, and in Vilnius. And right now we are actually moving away from investing into Tallinn, but we're very much focused on Riga, because you have to look at the local dynamics. And in Tallinn we have had quite a lot of new office buildings being built, so the competition has been increasing. However, you know, the tenants are moving from older buildings to the new ones, and you know, they're more efficient, you know, the better quality premises, and if you want to offer your employees you know, good working environment, you need to do that. That is still to happen in Riga. The same thing is still to happen. It takes another few years, but we will see the same trend of new office buildings coming to the market. So what I think the name of the game in the Baltics is definitely the renewal of the real estate stock. So older properties will be replaced by newer properties, and we see tenant demand, especially in the newer properties.
It sounds like a huge airline company that we have in Sweden. Old planes going into new planes instead.
Precisely.
What about Lithuania?
Vilnius is still very much a star. You know, Danske Bank is there now, occupying 4 office buildings and one of the biggest employers in the financial sector. And I think very dynamic is Vilnius as a city now in attracting those international tenants to open their back offices, their financial functions, other research and development departments, because the cost basis is still in the Baltics very low, and you have well-educated you know, people that can do a very good job.
All right, I was in the US a couple of months ago, and they told us about, or everybody I guess have heard about the death of brick and mortar in the retails, and they said that they were kind of 24 square meters per person. When it comes to the malls in Germany, it's about 4. What about the death of brick and mortar and retail in the Baltics? Are you affected?
Of course, we're affected, and we
do know its prime location.
We're very picky, you know, what kind of properties we're buying, and you know, it's not anymore a destination shopping, but it's more a convenience shopping that you know, people like to do. And I think the worst property you can buy probably anywhere today is a big hypermarket somewhere in the woods. So core location still holds value, has value, and will have value. Of course, for example, you know, the the shopping center, which we are combining with Coca-Cola Plaza.
We have another picture of that as well when we're
Precisely. So this is the old town of Tallinn, and this is the main, head street of Tallinn. And we own this property from 2013, and now we are completing the acquisition of this property. So what we want to do is when you asked about retail, we want to mix retail with other experiences in the area. So we have a vision actually of adding some office premises here. In the middle of the two buildings, create new retail space, but also add restaurants into the mix.
Okay.
And so you would have an office, mixed sort of complex that has offices where you have office, people working. But the ones that can go to cinema, that can go to the gym, and that can buy food, and maybe a piece of shirt from H&M. So it's all convenient, and I think that's what we believe in. You have smaller units of retail tenants, but more retail tenants to have more selection, and so it's definitely changing to become more convenient shopping. And more of choice and more of experience shopping.
That sounds exactly like we have Unibail-Rodamco in Mall of Scandinavia in Stockholm, and then we have Fabege as well as a retail company which have all the office spaces. So you have the workers, and you can go to the Mall of Scandinavia and do exactly what you told, but you were doing the same, but in the Baltics.
Correct.
You're doing this exactly same
so
here.
So the trends are the same. We are maybe have been affected not so quickly, but we are seeing the effects, and we have to adopt. And
that's perfect. Seeing what happens and need to adopt. That just brings me to the last question. What about the outlook for 2018?
Well, 2018 is definitely an interesting year for us. So we are looking to maximize the dividend, as I said before, and I think the focus now is more on realizing the potential within the portfolio. So, for example, the building these two buildings together. We are actually here today in Stockholm because in the Estonian embassy later on today we are giving away Digital Property Management Award to a Swedish startup company with young professionals. And we are inviting them also to come to Tallinn in 2018 to test their application within our properties. So they could very well actually test it with this complex. But
so what are they doing? Are they trying to make models of the building in a computer program before it's being built?
Something like that, and we are yet to see the final product, but it's a great initiative that they have, and we're happy to be part of it, to be sponsoring that innovative activity. But yes, we have. But in addition to this complex where we want to add value with expansion, we have 5 more. Expansion possibilities within our portfolio. So there is a lot of ways we can actually create value by expanding or changing the concept a little bit, so without hurting the dividend. So it's
without hurting the dividend.
Without hurting the dividend. So, and real estate investors, I think all over, cannot wait for value gain coming from the cap rates going down. You have to actually work to increase the NOI, and that's what we're doing in 2018, 2019, and 2020.
Yeah, in Sweden we say 1 bird in the hand is better than 10 in the forest. Who pays for that?
We will finance it internally, but also we will raise additional money for a specific project that we will have at hand.
And do you hire the rents from the tenants as well, because they will have a higher flow of people from the office buildings?
Precisely. Aha. So you have base rent, and then you have turnover-based rent, and the more people and the more interesting, let's say, shopping experience you can provide to the people, the more everybody benefits.
The more turnover. Yeah. All right. Thank you for coming here. Thank you for sharing your information and your outlooks for 2018. Och tack för att ni tittar på det här. Ju mer omsättning man har, desto mer pengar tjänar man såklart när det kommer till den här branschen. Det är så det funkar. Hörrni, stort tack för att ni tittar på det här, och vi ses snart igen.